All right, so I'm continuing the story on. This was a beginning story, and making sure that couldn't continuing from where I last left off. The main thing I want to say with regards to this game is so far is once Ashley Tisdale character was in the blood pool or blood blood cave, basically like the little ravine where in the cave where there was tons of blood in the river. We could say it's a river of blood, but it's not really technically nothing but blood, because logically that would eventually not be possible for her to walk into something like that. It's mostly water with tons of blood, but the whole point is that it looks more like blood more than anything else, because they wanted to give it scare factor towards the game. But what I'm trying to say is that aspect of the game was probably the most interesting part of the entire game so far. Her discovering that she's still alive, discovering that she has to move through this area, this underground cave area, and seeing where she has to go from there. Now, I'm not saying Ashley Tisdale's character is Rachel is the best in the game. In fact, she's probably one of the worst characters in the game because there's nothing much to do with her. So the characters in the game are bad, but the story leading up to the situations is good so far. The story could drop based on how things play out and how decisions are made. I made decisions for Eric to try to save Ashley. Eventually, he got killed. But what I found out in some other people's videos is that even he tries desperately to save her, the rope snaps and then she falls. But he doesn't fall. So the logic is really based on the relationship status between you and the characters. It's not really based on how strong the rope is or why would the rope pop for certain characters on certain playthroughs and not for other characters. It's not like someone cut the rope or the rope was weak or anything. It's just based on the situation. The friction on the rope made the rope pop on some other people's playthrough. I guess based on the confidence ability of interaction between certain decisions with the character. They were more of a stable relationship. Where with mine, I was always suspicious of her and she always felt nervous. So she was suspecting that I might drop her. So she keeps trying to desperately swing due to confidence. So I could be that, it could be that issue that if a character lacks confidence in your capabilities, they'll eventually try to struggle for their survival without dependence on your support, which eventually will lead to your death. So I like that factor in the game, and that's one of the increasing things I like with regards to the game. So for the moment, the game is still at a 1.2. Now I'll put the game up to a 1.3. Now the game could go to like a 1.4 for me. Um, Actually, no, I had the game up to a 1.5 if I remember clearly. Yeah, it was at a 1.5. Um, I don't believe I got it to a 2 yet. But I'll have to go back and look at it and see if I got it to a 2. No, no, no. See, now I'm correcting myself. It's not a 1.5. It's like a 2.1. A 2.1, 2.2 from the last time I went over the game. So it's at a 2.2. So now I'm at a 2.3 with regards to that. If I miss certain things, then regardless, certain aspects of the game and certain things I've shown with the game, certain features within the game have been lifted up from where it was before to where it is now. Um, Such as the animation, such as discovery, such as the world itself, such as the use of colors and the use of movement and certain items that you pick up. So right now I'm at a 2.3 with regards to uh, decision based on the character that survived, Rachel's character, and where I am now within the story. So far, if you were to evaluate this game based on its performance level story, anyone, I would say it's steady right now. It would accelerate regardless of the gunfight, regardless of everything. It's steady right now because the feeling from the beginning is it was slow. and then it led up to something action oriented, and then you had the time events, and then it led to another slow period, and then it led up to another action period that made it quicker, and then it went slow again, and then so it's like a roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, it goes. It does. There's not a steady high, and there's not a deep low. It's flowing very smoothly right now. So I would say that's how the game story is playing out. With regards to the characters, no, that's not playing out so good. Who they are, why are they even memorable compared to other stories within the Dark Pictures anthology? No. So the artwork, however, has been increasingly getting better. So from an artwork point of view, I'd say the game has increased up from where it was before to where it is now. I'd say it's probably like a 2.4 right now. So the game's at 2.4 right now. That mainly has to do with the chasm that she was in, the Blood River, how they made that look realistic, how they made the animation of the water, how they made the well, see, it's easier to do water when it's in a dark area because you see less faults when it's in dark in the area. But it's not so easy to do water when you have lighting effects such as fire and everything around there. I mean, you could say the fire highlights the water and makes it look bloom, but you really have to get the atmosphere correct for that type of mood settings that you're trying to accomplish. That's not easy. So that's something that they did right with regards to that ravine area. That's a very, very good and well done area, both for the atmosphere, both for the effects, both for the fog, both for the particles, and for the water, the reflection of light on the water itself. So that's been well done. So I'm at a 2.4 right now. I could get it up to a 2.5 if I really wanted to, but it has to be something specific to get it to a 2.5. Um, I haven't met that yet, so I'm gonna continue the story and see what goes on so far. I'm really waiting for the part that, because I know this game has high aspects of that film Life Force. A lot of people don't know about that. Probably the people who made this game probably didn't even think about that. But the moment they created something that has to do with vampires and then aliens, the only thing I remember that has vampires and aliens in it, and have certain aspects of vampires and aliens and certain things I saw in this game so far is that movie Life Force. I mean, I think it's the only vampire alien movie that exists. So who knows? Uh, I'm not worried so much concerned about the monsters that I'm going to find. I'm just concerned about how it's going to be revealed and how the relationship characters are going to be revealed. So that's the selling point for the game. Anyone could make a pretty game if they have enough graphics, they have enough money, and they have enough time to do it. But how you make it is the determined factor of whether something's good and whether something's not good. How I feel towards the end of the game and the overall experience. Even if I feel good towards the end of the game, if I said, well, this could have been done better, this could have been done better, this could have been done better, but I didn't want to factor in, and because of my overall enjoyment factor was was good, and I felt good about it, and I'm not being true towards the critique towards something that I'm watching, or something I'm reading, or something that I'm playing. So I like to be critiqued the whole way through. So if I fall off with a certain point because I forget, or it's a different day, I make up for it as I'm going on through the story, and I usually stop and say, "Well, this is happening here, and this is a reflection of history here, and this is associated with something I've seen in a movie here." So I'll continue on forward and see how the game progresses from there. And as usual, I'm archiving everything I'm speaking about so that the next game that comes out, if it's a shit show, I'm just going to point out certain things from that game that appeared in this game or the next game before that, next game before that. Just like Until Dawn, I've played that before. So far, the story in Until Dawn is better than the story here. But the story here has a better build up than the story in Until Dawn, where it felt like everything was taking extremely long to build up in Until Dawn. The characters are Until Dawn are far more interesting than the characters here. The creature, I believe, in Until Dawn might not be as interesting as the creature here, but it's far more scary than the creature here. The atmosphere in Until Dawn is far better than the atmosphere here. Though the blood pit is far more creepier than the woods in Until Dawn. Why? Because it's a deep cave. I think the main takeaway from the game is that this event is happening in the Middle East, Mesopotamian area in the desert. Now, if it was in the Middle East within a forest area or within a mountainous area or within a swamp, it would be more realistic when it comes to the fear factor. Because most lore that has to do with vampirism, werewolves, any type of mythical creature that's considered very dark in nature or decrepit in nature have been associated with a very dark and decrepit area. Whereas most creatures that are considered dark and decrepit pre-biblical, pre-New Testament times have been considered creatures within lighter areas, such as Egyptian demons and so on, found within areas such as deserts or more sprawling open countries or open areas. But I believe that the fear factor when it comes to really scary creatures has to do with enclosed areas, just like the cabin would be, or have to do with tight spaces, but not so tight spaces that you can't travel around. The atmosphere has to play a big part in making something scary. If you're in an open desert area, there's no fear factor there. As soon as those helicopters land, those soldiers got off that helicopter, there was nothing fearful about the area. And until dawn, when the characters first were came up to the mountains at night, the mountains, whether it's at night or morning, is far more terrifying because it's far more isolated than an open desert area. So that's the main thing that they got wrong with this game. So far, the game is at a 2.4 for me. Takeaway, if I was to take it away from in comparison to their other games, I would say in the Dark Picture Anthology, it's a far more scarier location than Man of Medan, but it's not a far more scarier location than New Hope. So what was now 2.4, now I could take it back down to 2.3 because that's what I thought about it just now. Like fear factor is not it's a huge part when it comes to horror games. If you only get certain aspects of horror right and certain aspects of horror not right, then it won't be as pristine as other aspects of your game or your trilogy or your anthology or the different movies or different games, anything associated with previous project you've done before that was far more scary than what you're doing now. So that's the thing that they got wrong. And it's kind of an obvious thing. And maybe a lot of people don't look at those things, but each time your eyes is traveling through a story and seeing things, hearing things, interacting with things, and being intrigued by things, it takes the human attention span will drift off if there's not something that's constantly keeping them in tune with what they're seeing, what they're feeling, what they're experiencing. So both background, both words, both visuals aspects, both the atmosphere, and both the situation, hell, even the gear that you're carrying has to be intriguing to the human mind, is in association with the story itself. If, if each of those things, even small things that take away, is not associated with the story, there are small things that steadily build up over time. So, just wanted to say that before I continue.
looks like a line out.
Maybe we can get the radio working and send a signal out. It's worth a shot.
A long shot. Oh, we don't even know if there's a working transmitter on the surface. Those wires gotta go somewhere, though. You think they still work?
Well, looks to me like they just snagged up.
Just as well. Don't feel much like climbing out there.
What the fuck, Joey? Shit, Joey, it's me!
We have to hurry. It's not safe here.
I didn't know that you could fight.
Yeah, me either.
What was that thing?
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not alone.
Where have you been?
One of those things got its dirty hands on me, dragged me down here, left me for dead.
Fuck.
Fuck doesn't even start to cut it.
Can't believe you survived down here for so long.
Maybe I should use you for bait. That might actually be fun.
What are you talking about?
If I hadn't shown up in time, it would have been adios, Rachel. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Semper Fi. We gotta find a way out of this hole.
So, this is where you've been hiding out? Do you have any weapons?
Do you mind?
Just need some batteries for this damn light.
You could just ask. That ever cross your mind? Looks painful.
Yeah. It is.
Think you can keep still?
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. Well, guess I'm a little glad too.
I saw those same symbols in the shepherd's huts.
Those people must have been in the valley a long time. There's a way up. There's no way we're making it. Look at it. It's barely climbable.
We can make it together.
How did I know you were gonna say that?
I met Eric in Climbing Glass. I can get us out of here. You okay?
Yeah, just need a minute.
A minute isn't gonna kill us.
Until it does.
God, you look terrible.
Gee, thanks, Rachel. You ever think about going into motivational speaking?
Seriously though, are you okay?
That's gotta be about the dumbest question I have ever been asked. Give me the silent treatment, huh?
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. Something to get our minds off this place.
Okay. So why'd you become a physicist? I mean, you don't...
I don't look the type.
Well, you don't.
Oh, should I be wearing nerd clothes?
That's not what I meant. You just don't strike me as one.
Science was the furthest thing from what everybody thought I'd do. Something just for me.
I know a little something about that.
You do?
It's not easy being queen bitch. You think I got where I am with a soft word and a warm smile?
And here's me thinking you Langley types grew up on Easy Street.
Easy Street? I had to graft to get here. You think it bothers me what people call me? I wear that shit like a badge of fucking honor. They have no idea of the shithill I've climbed just to get to where I am right now.
Yeah? And where is that exactly?
Looks like another shithill if I'm truly honest with myself. You and I, we're not so different. You know, both doing what needed to be done to get to where we wanted to be. No shame in that.
No shame.
Grease, what did that thing do to you?
Please! Please don't leave me down here alone!
It's okay. I'm here.
Promise that you'll stay with me.
I won't leave you. I promise. But you have to tell me. What did that thing do to you? There's medication up there. It may help you, but we need to move. Now! Give me your hand.
We're on the wrong side of the chasm. We'll never make it.
Don't quit on me now. We have to swing over.
That rope won't hold.
Wait!
Do you really believe those medicines will help me?
Keep it together, Clarice. We're almost there.
You didn't answer my question.
Where I see it, it's your only hope. We can do this. Oh, shit.
You okay?
Yeah, just...
Not seeing anything come up, but I can hear them. Sounds like they're having way more fun down there than we are up here. Over.
As long as they keep the party to themselves, I'm happy. We got nothing on the cameras inside. Over.
Eyes alive. All clear for now.
If they hit us, my best hunch is it'll be from the chasm.
If? You feeling optimistic, Lieutenant?
How's our friend doing in there?
Salim? He's trussed up like a turkey.
We're facing an enemy we know zero about. An enemy of unknown size and their home turf. Sucks to be us. I don't know how long those doors can hold them back.
Radio's our best shot. Fix it up, call in the cavalry, even shit up a bit.
If there is a transmitter up there, it's gonna have a limited range. One thing Eric did manage to get right about this shit show.
Yeah, he gave us air support. Lord loves a miracle.
We get that signal out, our birds may be close enough to hear it. Still means we have to find a way to reach him, of course.
One problem at a time. They set up a fake dig site to draw off grave robbers. They knew whatever was down here was pretty special. I'm gonna need a hand to get this up and running. Thank you.
Those things will kill you, Sergeant.
Yeah, like smoking is the biggest threat to my life right now. Fuck that, I leave my lighter. It's just a ghost signal. Even without a transmitter, a radio picks up a faint signal. It's just ghosts, man.
So fix that transmitter. If we can establish a signal and contact CENTCOM, then we're one step closer to home.
I don't trust any of you pussies to do it.
The fuck, Lazarus? Sit your ass down.
From the dead, baby.
Corporal Merwin, probably best you stay here and recover.
Oh, and let you have all the fun? Oh, fuck that. Let me break this down to you Barney style. I'm the only one here who's a mechanic. Now, that's what you call a no-fucking-brainer.
سليم انت سبتهم يقبضوا عليك؟
فكني.
الكلاب بيطلبوا حماية ما نقدرش نسيبهم يجمدوا.
لا احنا محتاجين الكلاب دول لنخرج من هنا.
انت اتجننت، دول على الدوانة.
انت ما شفتش الغول؟ في غول هناك، هو ده العدو الحقيقي.
سليم انت اتجننت.
اسمعني ارجوك اسمعني. قتلوا الامريكان، كانوا هيقتلوني انا. اسمعني، انا شفت غول بعينيا دول وقتلت واحد.
اخرس وامشي ورايا.
انت سامعني خالص؟
لا انت اسمعني دلوقتي، يا اما تمشي ورايا يا اما خليك هنا واتعفن. اختار.
الله يلعنك. استنى، انا جاي. Shut it up.
You wanna hurry the fuck up? We don't have much time.
There I thought I could take a Sunday morning stroll. You know, taking the view.
Every 2 minutes. 2 minutes? You want me to do it twice? Score one for the lieutenant. Hoorah! Signal out! تعمل ايه يا ملازم؟ عارف!
This is Mailman 212, Coyote 2. We are requesting evac. Over. Ugh. If anyone's out there, if anyone can hear me, we're requesting immediate rescue. Over.
Mailman 2-1, this is Rhino 1-5. Say again, over.
It's air support. We need immediate evac. We're trapped under the LZ and facing multiple unidentified hostiles. We need to get the fuck out of here. Over.
Solid copy, Mailman 2-1. Roger. Wait out.
Shit. Fuck this guy.
سلموا نفسكم ليا.
ما سمعتهمش؟ دول جايين لينا.
اخلص. We need to flank him. Only way we're gonna get rid of this clown. Cover me! Flank him!
Don't have a clear shot.
Hello there, Rabbit.
خبى يا ملازم. Push forward into the temple! Move! Put your shoulder into it!
Don't see the Arachnos.
they got any sense, they'll stay back. Shit's about to get real in here.
Wait!
Rachel! You're alive?
Have any doubt, Marine? Where's Eric?
He's gone.
He's dead.
He was a solid dude.
He deserved better than me. What happened to him?
Rachel,
Tell me.
he was shot by one of the Iraqis.
This Iraqi's still alive.
He is, and he's close.
It's good to see you, Rachel. Thought we'd lost you.
Who else made it through?
It ain't good. Merwin's gone. Those things, they got Joey, Clarice. What is it?
Clarice was infected. Those things, I don't know how. They got inside her. We tried to make it back up here, but she fell to her death.
One thing I've learned about this place, the dead don't stay that way. You armed? Make sure every shot counts. All right, fall back to the main temple.
Generator! We're blind without it!
I need help! We can't let any of those things through! They're inside already! Can't let any more in! Don't care what their invite says!
I'll get the generator running! Fuck, that's all we need. Is this place mined?
Not mined enough! Generator running now, or we're all screwed! These fuckers won't in! It's not gonna hold! This is our house! Our rules! She's got! They're coming through! Fucking things are worse than sewer rats!
Fuck! You gotta be messing with me!
Now's about the time we bug out. Any objections?
They're breaking through the
You got any bright ideas? Now's the time!
Come on. There's gotta be something. Wait! Yes! Okay, we can make for the catacombs. We need to go down!
Down? In case you missed it, that ain't the way out.
It's either that or we die where we stand. Everyone move to the east gate!
Go, get to the gate! This wasn't one of your better ideas, Reach. Now we're talking.
Listen. Can you hear them? Blast must have cut us off. We should keep moving.
ارمي سلاحك بالانجليزي.
Hello again. My friend is not happy.
Yeah, I can see that.
What happened up there?
ما تحركوش.
Your friend's a little too jumpy for my liking. It's making me nervous.
Lowering your weapon might help alleviate some of the tension.
اديله رصاصة في دماغه لو ما سمعش الكلام.
هتكون فكرة وحشة.
انت مش في مكان تحدثي.
Make a move. I fucking dare you.
I feel like our uniforms are getting in the way of what could be a beautiful relationship.
مش أهبل.
Shut up!
اتهاد جوزي رمني في الجحيم. دواتسي هل تدفع.
I say we drill these sorry-looking motherfuckers.
هما بيقولوا إيه؟
Nick, deal with this shit.
I'll know what to tell you. We could really use their help.
They're the enemy, Nicky.
We have to help each other. It's the only way.
We're way past that.
them. We must get this door open. Why are you standing there? Help!
Don't even think about it.
Fuck, Jason! The enemy of our enemy is our friend! Move! Come on, man!
Shit. Move!
Alright, so there's one thing I gotta say with regards to this game. I had it up to 2.4 and then took it back down to 2.3. I gotta take it back down to 2.2. Because one thing I noticed in this game, if you pay attention to the story, is that as you're going through the story, you will see that certain things are happening that doesn't make sense. One, Salim Abel put that little metal spike on his back, but there's nothing to hold the spike on his back. It's just attached to his back. Two, when they're pushing on the door, try to open the door because it's stuck or whatever, you could say it's jammed. So once you push on something, based on its weight and everything, you'll be able to open it, and it makes sense. But when you close it back up, it's easier to close back up because the jam there has now been removed. However, if it's regarding the weight of the door, then what Nick just did was just pushing by himself and the door closed. So that means opening the door is harder than closing the door. That doesn't make sense. Unless there's something to explain that. Otherwise, that takes you out of the game. That doesn't make sense. Also, the same as with regards to, they say, Clarice falling to her death or falling down. I made a decision to make her jump on the road because I knew for a fact because your infection will eventually kill someone down the road. But I didn't know how that would play out. What I mean by immersion breaking is the logic of how she fell. It doesn't seem to make much sense. Right. The hooked on there and clawed on real good. And she said from the beginning it's not gonna hold. That's true. So when she flew across, she's swinging across, Rachel swinging across, true. It's not good. When the other character swinging across, she just felt completely due to the weight and everything. That's realistic, but ability is not as realistic as it's supposed to up depicted. Or maybe that's just my opinion. Like she should have fell right before, as soon as she swung, not halfway through. The weight of the thing would have completely break the moment she put her weight on it and swing. But that's devil in detail stuff. There's also the factor of to believe and not to believe when it comes to certain decisions certain characters make. But those are decisions that are supposed to play out regardless of how the people who made the game told you you're supposed to act towards certain things within the game, towards certain situations in the game. Otherwise, certain things will happen. For instance, Rachel was in the room and she used a machine gun, Chekhov's gun, to shoot the monsters. And she didn't choose to do that. She chose to run. She could have run and exploded due to one of those mines that were set on the wall from the premonition. I chose to take the machine gun because I know that was going to happen. However, I didn't know that the soldiers would guide her along the pathway so that she doesn't explode. So those are things that I like within the game. But the immersion breaking thing is some things that kind of take you out of the game. I'm pretty sure that gamers who made the game didn't really think too deeply into or thought way too deep without seeing how it visually would play out and make sense down the road. So I didn't think they thought about that whole thing on Celine putting that spike on his back, but there's nothing to attach to, or Nick pushing on the door, because I've seen that happen before in other doors. That didn't make sense. Pushing on an ancient door that's so heavy, and they were able to push it as a group, but then to close it is easy. Certain things take you out of the game, so I'm not at now at the 2.3 with the game. But then I would have to take it back up, you see, because as the story is going forward, now it goes back up to 2.3 again. It went back down 2.2, now it goes back up to 2.3 again, because the story is getting better. Merwin is still alive, obviously because of saved him, but then Merwin died because he was able to do the communications, and then the enemy shot him, and then Rachel showed up towards the end, and then you were in a firefight, and the effects of the firefight based on your decision will show how certain things are going to play out. So slowly but steadily, the story is progressing at a good and extreme pace. It's not extreme, but it's getting far better. So we went down to a 2.2 and now went back to 2.3. So hoping nothing else falls off from the game and things just increase more. I could say it goes to a 2.4 now with regards to what happened to Clarice and the decision with her and Rachel and how that will play out. But I have to see how that plays out towards the story. So far, nothing else other than that has been included in the game so far for me to consider it to going beyond the 2.4. But I don't know, man. I mean, I do things from base from 0 going to 1, from point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5. I do things that as I see them. So I guess I could point out the grain on the grass. I mean, not the grain, but the sand. Sand look like sand. You know, it does, and when they step on it, it reacts like sand. I never spoke about regards to the sand or the grain effects in on certain buildings or the stone. Well, I did speak on the stone and the how stone looked realistic, but I never spoke on the sand. I spoke on the water. Water looked realistic, but I never spoke about the sand. How when you walk or when you touch the sand or when you move through certain areas and falling effects of debris from sand. So I never spoke with regards to that. So that works as well. So that's the 2.5 there. I mean the 2.4 there. The 2.5 will probably be the fact that certain statues or certain buildings, and I mean not buildings, but certain statues look like actual physical statues. So they were able to get the statue molds down correctly to look like statue molds and have them shape and design and look accurately across the statue. There's also the 2.6 will be with regards to positioning. Positioning is a big part when it comes to any art form, or when it comes to any design form, or when it comes to photography. Positioning and how you position certain things within the game is positioned well, whether it's just for a single shot or for a panning shot. So the positioning is good when it comes to location. Also, perspective in the game. I never spoke on perspective. Perspective in the game is good as well. From deep locations to near locations, like when they're to, Rachel and Eric were going through the cave, spelunking in the cave. That was a beautiful shot. When Rachel was walking through the blood pits, or the cabin, or the blood river, through the cabins, that was a good shot as well. And there was also good overhead shot from when they were in the helicopter. So perspective looks good with regards to the game. So that's the 4.6 right there. I mean the 4.7 right there. The 4.8, I would say. I mean not 4. I keep saying 4.8. 2.8. The 2.7. The 2.8 is what was it? It wasn't animation. It wasn't positioning. It wasn't perspective. And I already spoke on the art form. I didn't speak on the map. speak about the map painting, because the map painting is something that I will have to go into detail with on a more complex scale. But I could say the map painting with regards to the game, or the mapping to look like map painting in the game for background designs is good. So I will just say that the background designs for the maps looks good. So that's the 2.8. I could say the design of the actually documents and the different artifacts they find, the secrets they find, the creative design for making those things look historically accurate or old school timing, that actually looks good. Because time had to go into designing those things as well. So I could say that's 2.9. So now I'm at the 2.9 because the game, those things are accurate. And I could scroll through those things and look at how things work out with regards to the game. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole stats of each individual's. Like him and Jason, show different things that goes up. Now, I could get into that and say that the 3 is there to show your stats effects, what you have to do with regards to stat effects, how to get on certain good, someone's good side, how to get on something's bad side. So that's there as well. So that's the 3. But I was speaking before was secrets. The secrets are, in order to create certain secrets and documents, you have to do designs of this whole thing with it. That's what you see right here, the circle and then document in the center. Then you have to do the artwork for the art itself, the tags. And then you have to do the color, and then you have to do the rendering. Now, text and everything with regards to being inside these circles and everything, that's normal. But each of these things that are seen here are actually cut from inside the game itself. So they have to, one, do the game, then take cut from the game, and then copy and paste it here, and then set that here. So it's a different window design altogether from the separate ones I thought I spoke of with regards to the game. So I already spoke that secrets are in the game, but now let's spoke of the window here and everything within the window set within the game. Or things that are going there, because each of these are placed within these circular windows or circular objects. Now this whole secret section seems kind of stupid. Circles, connective circles. Yes, it's dumb, but to actually design it as well and put it into the game is something that's a fundamental effort that someone had to do. So that's the 3. You could say it goes back down to the 2.9 because it looks dumb looking and there's not much effort. But I won't get into that. I could easily subtract that, but I'm not going to subtract it because the secrets in the game are not that important. Just to show you what you have and what you don't have. So I'm glad that it's at least including it in the game. Just like this is included in the game. So I'm at a 3 right now with regards to the game. So when I find more things with regards to the game that's interesting, I'll point them out. I already spoke about skin color. I already spoke about clothing. I already spoke about textures and rendering, but I didn't speak about the equipment that they were carrying. Not the fabric of the equipment, but the metal of the equipment and details within the equipment, the shine on the metals, the grain of the metals, how the details within the carvings of the metals, are those accurately done? Yes, those are accurately done. So fabric and clothing is one thing, skin and realistic of eyes, mouth, nose, those are nothing. For metals and metal objects, that's something else that's important as well. That has to be included. So now I'm at a 3.1. As I go forward in the game, I'll find more stuff, but at the moment, I think that's as much as I can find with the rest of the game. I mean, this game would have easily been a 6 in my opinion if I was doing things on a standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I'm not doing things on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm doing things from a 0 going towards a 1. Devils and details evaluation. That's what I'm doing. I could say it's a 3.2 in my opinion right now because I never considered the R1, L1 scrolling from side to side. I didn't factor that into the game. The interactive menu for getting from window to window, putting in the mechanic of the fundamentals of the game. The interactive menu for scrolling from left to left. So that inclusions is within the game. It could have easily put a different button scaling effect rather than R1 and L1, but they put in something simple and easy to use, so that effect is also in the game. So that will say it's 3.2. But beyond that, there's nothing else special that would say that's in the game that's more better than Until Dawn. In fact, I think more things in Until Dawn are far more superior in that game compared to this game. But the game is not even halfway done, in my opinion. Or maybe I'm at the halfway point, but I don't think so. I think I'm getting towards the halfway point, but I haven't got there yet. So we'll see.
This looks like the worst place in the goddamn world.
Rachel, stay close. I have to go. Now!
Shit.
Teach you to mess with a Marine. What the hell? Don't you fucking move. All this shit, it's on you. If you people hadn't ambushed us, none of this would have happened. What's so fucking funny?
If you American had stayed in America, we wouldn't be here now. There are no weapons of mass destruction. This whole war is on you.
Looking for trouble?
Says the American with the gun. We don't have to be friends, but we can be allies.
That's something I can get on board with. If I think for 1 second you're trying to cross me, best believe me, following a second you're dead.
I kill vampires. You think I'm afraid of a jarhead?
That looks like our best way through.
One of us holds up the gate. The other can slip through.
Go! gotta find another way around.
I think there's a way through. I just need to clear it from my side.
Do it quick. Those things could be anywhere. You got any idea what we're dealing with?
They're vampires.
Not possible.
My father once told me, if something looks like shit and smells like shit, you don't have to taste it to know that it's shit. Believe me, they're vampires. We must work together to defeat them.
Yeah, it's beginning to look like that.
Go ahead. Hurry! I can't hold on!
You almost killed me.
Almost.
Alright, so that's one thing I'm going to take away from this game. When you're button mashing to try to make a successful attempt, the other buttons can cancel out your button or go straight into the menu options. So if you're pressing on a button, if you so much as hit another button while you're button mashing like crazy, it cancels out your ability, or it goes into a different menu, just thus forcing you to press another button and then go back into that button. I don't think they were thinking about it when they considered that factor. When you're supposed to do button mashing, if your hand glides on another button, it will take you out or into a different menu. And it's not like you could change your settings of where your button placements are going to be. You can create your sensitivity, you can create your camera, you can create your aiming, your exploration of movement, and the inspection of objects. Then there's the gameplay. Challenging type and this. There's no for your controller what type of button mashing. You have invert, you have this, you have this. But the buttons you are given are the buttons that you are given. You can't switch them up like other games, where you want to play certain things, where you want your interactive menu for your buttons to be. It doesn't exist in this game. So that 3.2 that I had it up to now went back to down to a 3.1. I think that's completely stupid. The inability to make you be able to change where you want to place your buttons. I mean, for God's sakes, this is an interactive movie. Now, if it's an interactive movie based a game, which is an interactive game, if you call it, or you could say it's an interactive movie, but it's not really a movie. It's not playing out fully like a movie, because if it was an interactive movie, it would play out more as a movie than it does as a game. It's an interactive game. But if it's an interactive game, everything you're interacting with should be placed up to your discretion. However, it's not placed up to your discretion. It's limited. So how you play the game is simply basic. You're being able to play the game continuously and over and make decisions. But it's based on the static prompts and the button placement that they're given to you in order to execute certain things. So you can't switch out certain buttons in order, like if you're button mashing, if your hand taps onto something, it might get onto a different button.
I know it's far more easier to do it when you're using a keyboard, but games for a PlayStation system were made specific to come with a controller for a reason. If a PlayStation system was to come with a keyboard, they would have made it such. So, if you want to make a game easier for yourself, yes, you could get a keyboard, but the whole point of the controller with the game system is for the game to work with the controller for the game you're playing on the system. If the controller doesn't work for the type of game, then the people who made the game have to work with the controller to make it work out the way they want. I think the people who made this game tested their game only on the forgiving factor or on the challenging factor only. I have mine on challenging factor, but I don't think they did a full examination test with regards to this. Not on every aspect, only on certain things. For instance, when you're pressing your triangle button to keep the door open, the game is, because it's challenging, you have to button mash it more. If your hand slips on something, they probably haven't considered that, or maybe they did consider it, and they said, well, it passed. If it works for some people, it doesn't for others. Well, that's not how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to work for everyone if everyone is pressing the triangle button. And if anyone, whether it's 2, 3, or 4 people, happen to have their finger hit the circle button or square button, then it's not working. You have to set up your controller because things like that would happen, and it will make the game fail, and it will take you out of the game. Oh, it doesn't matter how many times you press the triangle button or X button or Y button or whatever button. If you happen to bump into another button accidentally, it takes you out of the game. So I'm now down to a 3.2 in regards to the game. I think this game is like a roller coaster. It goes up and down, up and down. So we'll see how far this is going to go. I keep finding more things as I go along in the game. Some of them good, some of them bad. So we'll see. That execution move that should have successful have been there. But I keep button mashing like crazy and bumping into the other buttons because people who made the game weren't focusing on the button setup correctly.
What's the first thing you're gonna do when we get out of here?
Hold my son. How about you? What'll you do?
I'll probably just go for a drink. You seem like you got your head screwed on. So I gotta ask, what the hell made you sign up with Saddam?
9 p.m. Something unholy has happened. As I sat with my wife, I noticed something in her hand. Lady Bradshaw's brooch. She must have pulled it from her shirt when she grabbed at her. Turning it over, I noticed that it looked like one of the creatures we'd exhumed from the cocoons. Were these the demons Mary had spoken about? Had Bradshaw known all along what we'd find down here? Then Mary's corpse moved. It was not my wife. It was something inhuman. It leapt at me, and only the bars of the cell spared me from its fury.
Your friend Nick? I like him. He was good to me.
Circumstance. Any other day, he'd put one between your eyes.
What is the meaning of those markings on your hand?
It's to honor the dead. It's the reason I fight.
It's as good a reason as any.
It's a damn good reason. The only reason.
I have no grievance with you.
Maybe you need to switch on the news.
Listen. There was a man once who built his house on the banks of a river. When the floods came, his wall washed away. When the droughts came, the water dried up and the man was thirsty. All day, the insects bit this man's flesh. Yet each night, he says to his wife, "We have all the fish we can eat." Your people chose this war, Jason.
I think you need to give your mouth some rest. I say we get the fuck out of here.
Looks to me like a medical bay.
This could come in handy.
If you want to stick 60-year-old explosive in your bag, be my guest.
Those chemical weapons are close, right?
Every time you say something smart, you follow it with something dumb. It's caverns.
Whatever's down there, those explorers got there first. Hey, hold up, will you?
What are you doing? You think they're still alive? That's hopeful.
Hope is all we got left. That your wife?
It's funny how you can know someone for years and never really know them. I had no idea my captain was married.
That the asshole you were with earlier?
You didn't make it.
Works for me. One less bad guy to deal with.
A time will come when you'll deeply regret this manner.
I don't carry regrets. This place is a jack in the box. What do you make of it?
It's like nothing I've ever seen.
You see that elevator cable? The explorers must have gone down.
I don't think they made it back up.
That winch still looks functional.
No.
No?
We are not going down there. The archaeologists didn't make it out. What does that tell you?
We're not archaeologists?
Our world is up there, not down below.
Well, there's an army of monsters between us and the world above. They're close. Fire it up.
You crazy? If those vampires come from anywhere down there, you really want to find them in their own home?
What I've been doing since I set foot in this country. Get that elevator working.
An ancient horror has awoken from its slumber and is hungry for blood. Shall we see how many have fallen into shadow? Rachel found her way back to the light. A pity her husband wasn't there to welcome her back. Only one name in the ledger. An acceptable loss, considering the circumstances. Let's hope nothing unfortunate has befallen Sergeant K. Those taken by the Abyss seldom live to tell the tale. As for Jason and Salim, sworn enemies who cannot seem to bury the hatchet, unless that hatchet is buried in a bag. I don't want to seem like an ungracious host, but time is against us. I'll be here to greet your charges as they cross the finishing line, or to bury what remains of them under it.
Alright, so that's a good stopping point. As far as I could see, got the game back up to a 3.3. But I never spoke about the actual world building itself. So I should point that out. The world building is very good. The design of the world, not the buildings themselves, not the maps, not the colors, not the vegetation, not all that stuff. I'm talking about the concept art to design the world, which is good. The caves, the angles. Well, I mean, the angles are one thing, but the actual design of how things are going to look in the game is actually done well. So that's the 3.5 there. Yeah, 3.4, 3.5 there. I give it 2 points for that because the design of the world is very good. How things are set up, how people are placed, where they are, where they stand, what cave they go down, what paths they go down, what angles the actual camera set based on the design, the concept art. The concept art for the game is done very well. It's very well designed. Even though the boxing, I believe the boxing aspect takes away from the actual beauty of the game. They wanted to create something very boxed in and secluded and very condensed. However, they have a lot of beautiful stuff along the way as well. So that kind of ruined the whole immersion of the beauty. You get to see it all in one. I mean, if you're gonna enclose beautiful stuff, you have to show it at a scale that represents what it is as an enclosed area space. I like the stuff in the tombs. I like the placements of helmets, spears, and stuff in the tomb. Everything's nice, done nicely based on concept. So that's the 3.4, 3.5 there. 3.6, I would say, with regards to the grading of armors and the grading of helmets and the grading of spears and broken and metals and wearing of metals and so on and so forth. So I'll say that's the 3.6 there. The actual wearing away and depreciation of certain things, not just how they look structure wise based on their age, but the actually look of mold and depreciation done to it. The effects of wearing of time done to actually metals and rocks and so on, even on fabrics or clothing. So depreciation is there, is done well. Covered by smoke, covered by dust, or grime or felt, so on and so forth. That's the 3.6 right there. I would say a 3.7 would probably be to the saturation of colors used within the game, not just colors of things and how they're rendering and how they're blended and how they're used in regards to skin, clothing, and so on and so forth. But I'm talking about the saturation with regards to color blending based on lighting effects, such as red versus blue or green versus orange. The use of colors were done very well in the game with regards to saturation types and use of saturation to show a certain type intensity or a certain type of mood. So color used for mood is done well, not just color for rendering, or color for toning, but also color for intensity on colors and contrasting of colors. So that's done good. That's also an art trick as well, and also a photography trick as well, that most designers use anyway. So I'll say right now the game is at a 3.7 in my book, and I could pretty much get it up to a 3.8, 3.9 in regards to development of characters, such as not just development of one character, but development of multiple characters. So curator starting to explain things in a way that makes sense to the story. But the development of characters, the 3.8 in the game, is the decisions certain characters are saying, or decisions certain characters are making, are slowly progressing and getting better. Whereas at the beginning of the game, it's plain, it's just plain, and then it starts to accelerate based on circumstance, and then start to accelerate based on situations for their survival, and then it start to accelerate based on decisions for trusting. So, yeah, it's getting better in that factor. Not great, but better. So I would say, regards from the decision-making aspects of the game is great. Character-making aspects of the game, the characters aren't the greatest in the game, so, but the decision-making factors in the game is escalate. So going from regular having decision-making to escalation of decision-making to consequences of decision-making. So that's done. So I'm at a 3.8 with regards to the game. So it's not that it's just in the game, and then their decisions will affect your playthrough and consequences of your playthrough, but decision making in regards to um, making other characters do certain things in the game affect your playthrough. So it's not just on decision making a decision to save characters or to see certain outcomes, but decision to actually forward the story in a certain way where it would have gone in a different direction told. So I like that, and that's probably the best part of the game, the decision factor for how the story is going to play out. So that's going well. So that's a 3.8 right there with regards to the game. So right now I'm at a 3.8. I can't find anything else with regards to the game that's interesting, but right now I'll stop it right here and leave it at 3.8. I believe before this game is over, it will fall slightly above average. It will be slightly above 5. I don't believe this is better than Until Dawn. I believe this is like probably a 5.5 game. As an overall, if I'm to classify this game as an overall game, for my opinion, it would be in a 5.8, 5.9 category. But if I was to classify this game from a personal scale, towards the end, it would have to be slightly above average. It would be probably 5.2. It would have to be something dramatically great for it to be 5.9 or to be 6. Or to get an overall score for it to be in the 7. It'll have to be something great towards the end. And I believe the whole vampire stuff will, with the life force stuff and stuff that people talk about towards the end, will get will probably get it to a 6. But I don't think this game will go past 6, in my opinion. As much as I like the movie Life Force, as much as I like vampire lore, as much as I like historical accuracy, and there's a lot of stuff in this game, and that's another thing. Well, I'll give the game a 3.9 for that. The story accuracy is done in details. Research done within the Akkadian Empire is escalating slowly and progressing slowly, and they're using it within these archaeologists that did their work back in the 19th century, in 18 something something. So yeah, so that stuff is there. Their logbook is there. The journals, not logbooks, journal is there. Information is there. The old tech is there. So I like the fact that it includes old techy stuff within the game. So, oh yeah, and I never point out the fact that they're using classical technology to add towards the factor of the game, and to use the lore of archaeologists from the back in the days to include it into the story. So that's another thing to add towards the game. Old school technology is used within this game, or old school analog stuff is used within the game. So that's the 3.9 right there. The 4 would be the archaeologists, speaking from a verbal point of view towards the players in the now generation, who are picking up their documents and their journals and stuff. So I like that they included that factor. That seems to be a very interesting aspect of what's been happening in the past. That seems more Indiana Jones to me. Archaeologists going on excavation, so on and so forth. And that would be something nice to explore rather than a bunch of military guys doing that. So at the moment, I like the fact that that's including as well. You to learn something from the past of people who were once here, and you want to know what was going on in that past. So I would say right now that would be the 4. So right now I'm at a 4 overall for the game, that they have these things in the game and they're slowly progressing the story. So as you're seeing certain scenes, certain premonitions with regards to what the archaeologists did back in the days, those things are all actually playing out within your gameplay as you're proceeding forward in your playthrough with these characters, Nick, Rachel, so on and so forth, but not in the same way. So that's the 4 right there. So I'm gonna stop this at a solid 4, and if I find additional other things that to make the game go up higher, I'll keep proceeding forward tomorrow. I believe I'm at the halfway point now. It has to be the halfway point now. Or maybe I'm a little slightly almost close to the halfway point. Maybe I'm not even at the halfway point. Maybe I'm close to the halfway point, but I believe I'm close, or I'm almost there, or I am at the halfway point. So I'm at a 4. I keep it at 4, and I believe before this game is over, it'll be slightly above 5. It'll be slightly above 5 for me before this game is over, and it'll have to be something dramatically like super alien race type lore and additional other crazy stuff happen towards the end for this game to get into the 6-7 category. I believe when they made this game, they probably thought it was going to fall within the 6 or 7 category, as most horror films usually are classified as 5, 6, or 7. So is this game classified under that field? But I don't believe that they wanted or they thought this game was going to be slightly above 5. But here's the thing. People who design games always think their games are better than they think it is, but it's not. I believe this game might fall into the 5 category and won't exceed past the 5 category, in my opinion. But it will have to be something dramatic for it to exceed past the 5 category, in my opinion. I mean, as an overall game, I could see this being a 6.0. But if, as a personal opinion, I believe this game just stays slightly above average, probably 5.2, 5.3. But I haven't got to that yet, and hopefully it does get to the 6 category, but I don't see this game being above the 6. If I find out on Metacritic that this game is in the 7, 8 category, I'm going to say, like, what the hell crack are you people on? You don't know shit about anything. Or maybe you evaluate games on not looking at every single minute detail. Because I would look at every single minute detail so far. From text, from the... If I go right down to the collectibles, I'm scrolling on text, the color of text, the collectibles. And these are just cut and paste stuff. And then you go into the actual menus, design of the menus, the main menus, then you go to settings, and then you go to settings here, and the settings you don't see anything here. So get back on settings, continue your story. So it will continue, then you look here, you get this big design, and you get this big design right here, then you have the background, then you have the color of the sky, then you have the color of the trees, you have the rendering, and you have the menu popping up and popping out. All these things have already been considered. the time it takes for the window to pop up, the time it takes for the window to go out, the time it takes for things to load based on your network speed is a different issue, and that shouldn't be considered whatsoever. But the time for things to pop in and pop out, how they're done, is very simplistic. It's not very complicated. That's why I never gave it additional points beyond that. Like fundamentals, I gave points for, such as the panning and pan and push, scan, and just the interactive menu. But I won't give it something for something that fundamental is how long does it take to load and not to load. So it has to do more with network. And the servers, it's not like this is an MMORPG game that you have additional other stuff. This is just the game itself. So you're not working for this playing this game online. It's really based on your speed. All in all, this is a 4 game. And everything else has been considered. I could really talk about the details on the trees, such as grain effects, such as the color, such as the realism of the trees, and so on and so forth. But I believe those things will fall into the category that gets like 2 or 1. Because I already spoke on details of clothing, I already spoke on details of metal, I already spoke on details of skin, I already spoke on details of the background and the colors. I already spoke on detail of the sand, I already spoke on detail of water. So I'm not going to speak on details of the tree, because all those factors are already considered, and you could fold them all into just one big pocket of it's already been spoken on. Designs and details of trees not as complex as design and details of water or of a grain of sand. Or even if it is, it's to the same level, so I won't add additional things toward that as well. The rendering of colors and effects of colors and grain effects that are used for water and sand, so they're also used for trees and so I won't even go into that. So right now the game is at a 4, and I'll keep it at a 4. And tomorrow, hopefully, there's something better. But like I said, I don't believe this game is going to go beyond a 5 in my book. I can see it being a 5.8, 5.9 most for me, but I don't think this game will ever hit the 6th category unless there's something dramatically great that makes it 6th category.